Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket from Rev TV. You'll get every game every Sunday afternoon in crystal clear HD. That's over 220 football games for the entire regular season. Plus, NFL Sunday Ticket gives you up to 8 live games on one screen with Game Mix. You'll get that died and woke up in football heaven experience when you include NFL Red Zone, a channel dedicated to every scoring play from every game and all your fantasy football teams. Get in the game with NFL Sunday Ticket. Call 601-8992 today.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, Hurricane Joaquin leaves a trail of devastation in its wake after leaving the southern Bahamas. In response, damage assessments are underway and Bahamians come together to lend aid. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. Damage assessments of the aftermath of Hurricane Joaquin began today with Prime Minister Perry Christie and other officials this afternoon flying over and into islands affected by the storm. We are told that the situation in many of the family islands in the southern Bahamas is dire. Long Island, Acklins, Crooked Island, Rum Cay, and San Salvador have been severely impacted. At last reports, airports on those islands remained closed until nearly sundown. Electricity, landlines, and cell service were also down on those islands at last report. The only means of communication left, satellite phones. Well, Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner was one of the first to fly over some of the southern islands. She gave us this aerial footage courtesy of the Weather Channel of Crooked Island and Long Island. As you can see, streets are flooded, homes are missing roofs, and more have been destroyed. Most roads are impassable due to water and downed trees. Most people were evacuated from their homes, and there are unconfirmed, I repeat, unconfirmed deaths on Long Island. Our news team has yet to receive any denial or confirmation of those reports. We are also unclear exactly where relief personnel have been deployed. Our news teams are currently traveling with the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister on separate flights as they seek to survey the situation and hopefully bring some relief to those people on those islands. And as we said, one of the islands hit hardest by the storm was Long Island. Member of Parliament for the islands, Loretta Butler Turner, headed to the sky shortly after the crack of dawn this morning on board a Trans-Island airline flight to conduct an aerial assessment of the damage and take whatever supplies she and her team could manage. She called the damage the most devastating thing she's ever seen.
We were able to see devastation unforeseen prior to this in this country. Those southern islands are absolutely devastated. The saddest part of all of this is that probably for the first time in many, many years, we have speculation that there are multiple deaths from this hurricane.
Butler Turner said residents have told her about loss of life on the island, although she could not confirm how many people. She said the hardest part is the personal relationship she has with everyone on the island.
All of our families.
We can't say now.
We only have 3,000 people or less on Long Island. We know everyone personally and individually, and in most of these other islands where there's small populations, these are people known to us. We're not going to reveal them because we obviously have family members that probably don't know, but it is very heart-wrenching.
It's heart-wrenching.
Today I speak to you, not just as the Member of Parliament for Long Island, but more so as a concerned Bahamian that saw what was going on and wanted to be able to bring together a rapid response team that is able to get us deployed to find out what's going on in our islands. Obviously, I'm one of the islands of the area. My constituency was one of the most impacted areas. And since we were unable to be there,
Butler Turner's team flew over Rum Key, Cat Island, Crooked Island, Ackland, San Salvador, Long Island, and Long Key. She said from the sky she could see entire communities leveled to the ground and in some cases underwater. In some dry spots, she said residents were signaling for her plane to help. In that sense,
what we noticed as we moved through all of the islands where people were out and about, we noticed numbers of people in clusters. So obviously people are banding together for their survival. People are going where there is shelter, where there is safety. One of the things we noted is the massive flooding in so many areas, especially Long Island and Crooked Island. And so we were able to buzz low enough to see individuals waving to us for survival, like SOS. And so tomorrow morning, I'm going to tell you, we're not going to give up this effort. We can't sit and wait for people to make decisions. These humanitarians that you see all around this building, we've got teams and teams of helicopters and planes and food and people getting down there. We're not going to give up until we have access to every Bahamian that we can help right now.
She said she has been in contact with mostly Long Island residents, but understands Crooked Island was the worst hit of all. She said all the people she has been in contact with say residents are trying to make the best of a terrible situation, but really need the help and support of their fellow countrymen.
We've already, with our grouping, been able to start deploying water, medical supplies, food provisions, and what are we asking people to do at this time? We're asking to continue to donate to this cause, because what we saw is not going to be dealt with in the short term. It's going to be a long-term project, but we can't have any more deaths due to dehydration, due to lack of food, due to people not being able to be sheltered. We need tarps, we need medical assistance, we need everything. This is now a national disaster.
Well, it took no time for Bahamians living in Joaquin's safe zone to step up to the plate and help their fellow Bahamians get back on their feet. The Rotary Club of Southeast Nassau and Trans Island Airways spearheaded a disaster relief drive today, gathering supplies and sorting them until the all clear is given to deliver them to the affected islands.
Still can't land planes on the islands. Right now we've done a flyover. We can see what some of the damage is, but until we can get on the ground, we can't assess exactly what the specific needs are. But we know people are going to need food, they're going to need water, they're going to need clothing. The flooding is tremendous. They will need supplies for their pets, baby supplies, toiletry items. So we're collecting anything that anyone can give to us. We're collecting for these families.
When our news team visited the donation site at Odyssey Airport this afternoon, boxes and boxes of essentials like drinking water, canned foods, baby diapers, clothes, blankets, and medical supplies were being sorted and prepared for shipment to Long Island and Crooked Island first. President of the Rotaract Club of Southeast Nassau, Leah Lowe, said it didn't take much for Nassauvians to bind together and help. She credits social media with the outpouring of support.
Trans Island Airways put out a blast yesterday morning. They said, listen, we're ready. We have our planes ready. We need volunteers. And I just stepped in and said, what can we do? And through the night, up until about midnight, we were just calling around. The public has been amazing with giving their manpower. People just literally went to the food store this morning and just said, this is what you needed. This is what I'm giving. It's social media has played a big role in this, and everybody's calling their friends and their coworkers, and it's just getting out there faster than.
President of the Rotary Club of Southeast Nassau, Dr. Bridget Roll, said corporate Bahamas also stepped up to the plate.
For example, Caribbean Bottling has donated 1,000 cases of water. We've also had tremendous support from Chelsea's Choice and Aquapure. And so the individuals, companies, Burns House has stopped by. They've promised 3 pallets of Vitamals. So the response is tremendous. And like Leah say, everyday folk are just coming in and literally coming from the grocery store with stuff. So it's been really, really nice.
And if you want to donate through this outreach, organizers say you can drop off essential goods at the Seahorse Institute on Soldier Road North or at the Odyssey Airport parking lot all throughout the weekend. We also want to note that the Bahamas Red Cross is open tonight and tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to receive donations for those affected by the storm. We'll have more storm-related coverage in a little while, but first, police were called to the scene of 2 homicides within hours of each other overnight. In the first instance, police say shortly after 11 last night, they received reports of gunshots being discharged in the Essex Street area off Shirley Street. Responding officers discovered a 45-year-old security guard had been shot multiple times about the body.
The individual is a security officer, and he was posting relief for the company and had returned to headquarters when accosted by person or persons who produced firearms and shot him multiple times to the body. He, in an effort to escape his assailants, drove off a short distance where he crashed into a parked vehicle. EMS arrived on the scene and, upon examining him, pronounced him lifeless.
In the second incident, police say shortly before 9 this morning they received reports of a man's body in bushes in the Gamble Heights community. Roll says police believe the man was stoned to death during an early morning altercation with area residents.
Officers responded to that area where they encountered the body of a male suffering from blunt injuries. EMS was summoned to the scene and pronounced this individual lifeless. The information at this stage is still sketchy, but we know that earlier this morning, shortly before 4 a.m., there were some reports of a fight in this area and persons attacking an individual with rocks, and that individual ran. Yeah, we have a number of investigators on the ground. We are speaking to persons right now, and it's still early to enter this investigation before we can say who he is.